Good morning. And we're talking about what happened at this church in St. Paul. This shows the degree to which these protests have expanded in Minneapolis. And this particular incident is now triggering a federal investigation. A group of protesters stormed and disrupted a Sunday church service because of one of the pastor's possible connections to ICE. The U.S. Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights announced there would be a federal probe over this, writing this on X. The Civil Rights Division is investigating the potential violations of the Federal FACE Act by these people, desecrating a house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers. The White House, meantime, is considering a federal troop deployment to Minnesota with 1,500 troops now on standby. President Trump has raised the possibility of invoking the Insurrection Act if the violent protests there continue, and that drew a swift rebuke from the mayor of Minneapolis.
This act was clearly designed to intimidate the people of Minneapolis. And here's the thing. We're not going to be intimidated. If the goal here is safety, we've got many mechanisms to achieve safety. Right now, we have about 600 police officers, and they've got 3,000 or so ICE agents and border control. That they are now talking about deploying 1,500 military. This is well, it's ridiculous, but we will not be intimidated by the actions of this federal government.
Now, the troops are from the U.S. Army's 11th Airborne Division. They're based in Alaska, and they specialize in cold weather operations. They are now on standby should the president order them in. Todd and Carly.
All right, Doug Luzader live for us in Washington. Doug, thank you. Let's bring in former DHS advisor and former Secret Service Supervisory Special Agent Charles Marino. Charles, thank you so much for joining us. So over the weekend, as Doug was laying out, you had the disruption of this church service where people who were praying were forced to leave. I mean, many people across the country are going to see that as a bridge too far. There's this other viral video that shows an ICE agent speaking directly to the camera as protesters were honking their horns, saying, what you guys are doing right now, you're supporting a child sex predator who we are trying to arrest. So that video is also going viral. Just your thoughts on these two incidents as those protests are still raging on in Minneapolis.
Well, good morning. There's been a lot of red lines crossed already, both by the governor and the mayor of Minneapolis, as well as these protest groups, some originating from the local area. But as this continues to expand, many protest groups will continue to originate from outside the area and even the region as they become more organized and more disruptive. Look, unfortunately, the position of Democrats and sanctuary cities is not